Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Wales, so my first Welsh beer review for you in quite some time, but we're going to a brewery who I know are really quite good. So we're going to revisit the Celt Experience, who are from Caerphilly, who are just to the north of Cardiff actually, and the beer we're trying tonight is their Iron Age beer, and this one is a hoppy table ale they call it. It's supposed to be a kind of red beer, but I've heard it's being called a red bitter before, so should be quite an interesting one. I've tried a couple of beers from Celt Experience before, the Silures, which was a really awesome kind of pale ale beer, really hoppy beer, and I also did the Cat Scratched Celt, which was a really nice beer as well. That was a collaboration with the Boxing Cat Brewery in China, but really quite nice beer. So very much looking forward to this one, and I've got high hopes for it. It's got good scores on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate as well, so we'll see how we get on with this beer. But anyway, as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All of the usual websites are in the video description below. The brewery website, the link to my other Celt reviews, and also the Facebook profile for the channel and the Untappd as well. So feel free to connect with me in whatever way you wish. And to my Welsh viewers, please let me know some other Welsh beers that you'd like me to have a look at. Always interesting to try beers from different countries, of course, and from new breweries. But anyway, to tell you about the Celt Experience. The Celt Experience was actually one of the first Welsh craft breweries, and they're from Caerphilly, which is just to the north of the capital city Cardiff in the southern part of Wales. But the brewery is about 10 years old, and it was founded by Tom Newman, who was previously an avid home brewer but now has obviously turned professional. But his brewing started in his dad's garage under the name Newman's Brewery, and apparently he learned his brewing techniques basically through trial and error. But he was able to buy up brewing equipment from Smiles Brewery in Bristol after it shut down, and soon after this he registered the Celt Experience name and opened up their current brewery in Caerphilly. So Tom decided to focus on the Celt brand, and he allowed the Newman's brand to basically fade away, and then he launched the Celt Golden, Bronze and Bledin, which were all actually organic beers. But in 2011 though, Tom began to experiment a bit more with various kind of hops and malts from all over the place, and he decided that he would actually drop the organic mantra for the brewery, and ever since that the brewery has grown really quite strongly. These are actually fairly new labels on the beers, if I'm not mistaken. The last one I reviewed for you, I think it was maybe about 2 years ago, the last member of the core range I reviewed for you was the Silures, and you'll notice if you go back and check that beer, the label on it is really quite different. But I really like the new labels they've put on there, these very Celtic, and it really goes with the whole kind of Celtic mantra thing. But that's your kind of brief history of the Celt Experience Brewery, a really good Welsh craft brewery in fact, so do check them out if you get the chance. But just to list the other beers in the core range you can get from these guys, there's the Iron Age, the Golden Age, Laten, Chieftain, Dark Ale, Native Storm, the Afanc, Silures, Tailless Black Soul, Ceridwen, the Black Book, Lamaast Harvest, Bledin, Goddess of the Spring, Brigid Fire, Cocoa Orange Paganism, which sounds a really nice one, Halstead Deity, House Lager, and also Migration. And they also have the series of Shapeshifter beers, which are their collaborations with other beers. The other one that I mentioned, the one with Boxing Cat Brewery, Cat Scratched Celt, that was a member of that series, and there's some really interesting beers in the Shapeshifter series. So if you do see them, buy them up, because I think most of them are limited edition beers. So do go and check out the Celt Experience Brewery. As I said, the brewery website's in the description for you below, so go and check them out and see what beers you would like. A very good brewery, so I would highly recommend them. But anyway, let's get into the actual tasting of this beer. So before we crank it open, I'll just open up the camera and let you have a little quick look at the artwork of this one. So as you can see, it's got a really nice kind of modern Celtic style artwork on it. It reminds me a little bit of Charles Rennie Mackintosh in some way, just a more kind of modern version of Charles Rennie Mackintosh actually. But I really like these this kind of label, or the new symbol of the Celt Experience Brewery. It's a lot kind of more eye-catching than the older one was. The older one was nice, but this one really is. It's definitely better than the older one, I would say. Nothing was wrong with the old one, but this is actually just a really nice label they've got on this beer. I really like some of the modern art you get on some of the beers is actually really quite impressive, and Celt Experience have done that quite well. But there you can see there's the Celt Experience bottle cap on this one, so I'll need to keep that, because I think the last one was just a blank bottle cap that I had on it. It tells you on the side, Iron Age beer, 500 litres, water, malts, barley, hops, yeast and things inside it, made in Wales, the Celt Experience Brewery, Pontygwyndy, Caerphilly, near Cardiff. So it's a hoppy red ale, robust passion fruit toffee bitterness, 42 IBUs, 38 colour units, and it's got US, New Zealand and UK hops in it, and they say that you should partner this with crayfish salad, and says a deeply aromatic and fruity beer with hints of passion fruit from Marathon to the edge of heaven, where Romans witnessed druids when sacrifice, ritual and cultures met, when ages welcomed magic. So it should be a really quite interesting one. This on the brewery website, it talks a little bit more about who the Celts were and things. So the Celts, if you don't know, are basically the people of Scotland, Wales, Ireland, the Isle of Man, Brittany and also Cornwall. And yeah, basically the Celtic languages is basically it's Gaelic, Irish Gaelic and Scottish Gaelic. Manx is in the same family as Scottish and Irish Gaelic, and you also have the other family of languages, which is Breton, Cornish and Welsh. And Welsh is a really unusual language to listen to. It's really quite interesting, but the Welsh government have put a lot of money into kind of restoring it because it nearly died out, much like Gaelic has almost in Scotland. But yeah, as you can see here, this beer has poured a really nice kind of dark, kind of chestnutty mahogany colour actually. There's a finger of a kind of frothy, creamy coloured head on this one. Looks really nice. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. Actually, a little bit of sediment visible in the bottom of the glass too. Some big bubbles sticking to the side, like I said, and quite a few little ones just going up to the underside of the head there. Looks really quite nice, and you can actually smell the fruit and the caramel off this one as you pour it. So let's have a proper look at that aroma. You know, this beer actually, in terms of the aroma, it really could pass for being an IPA, or a kind of red IPA actually. Really quite interesting. The only thing that gives it away as being more of a bitter style of beer is the malt base on it. It's got a nice big bready, kind of brown bready malt base on it. A good bit of cereal coming out of this one. I've never tried one of these table beers before, so I'll be interested to see what it's like. But it's 3.5% this beer. And interestingly, in Sweden, you can actually buy this beer in the supermarket in Sweden, and they're only allowed to sell alcohol under 4% in the supermarkets here. So you can get their stronger beers in Systembolaget, which is the state-owned bottle shops or alcohol shops. But in the supermarket you can actually get, the other one they had was Latin, and they also had this one as well. And the reason for that is simply that they're below 4%. But this is the best beer you'll find in the supermarket in Sweden probably. But yeah, so I was saying, with this beer, you've got a nice brown bready malt in this. A little bit toasted, and you can pick out some of the caramel too. And there's a bit of nutty aroma coming out also. But there's a good bit of fruity character in this too. Maybe a little bit of candied fruit underneath, but it's quite a sort of citrusy and almost kind of floral aromatic hop character you're getting out of this. I want to say I can pick up a little bit of orange in there. But yeah, it's a nice florally aromatic character that's coming out of this beer. Really quite well done actually. I have to compliment them on that. The aroma is really nice. But without further ado, we'll get stuck into this beer. So this is the Iron Age from the Celt Experience Brewery in Caerphilly in southern Wales. Slàinte. Really light on the mouthfeel actually. That's the first thing I'm picking up from this beer. Yeah, like the other Celt Experience beers I've had, it is quite hop forward, but it does have a nice, quite light malt base to it. Yeah, you have to let your palate get over the hoppy characters a little bit in this one. There's a good kind of floral aromatic character to this one. The beer comes across as quite bitter, and in my experience that's actually a trademark of the Celt Experience Brewery, as their beers tend to be quite hop forward and quite bitter, and this one's no exception to that rule, but it's a really nice trademark. I really enjoy my nice hoppy beers. But yeah, once your mouth gets past the initial bitterness of the beer when it comes in, because it does hit you quite hard when you first take the beer in, there's a nice light brown bready malt base there. There's a bit of cereal character in there too, and it's a little bit spicy in the middle of the palate actually, and you'll feel that just settling there in the middle of the tongue. But yeah, a nice light brown bready blanket across the middle of your palate there. Good bit of cereal spice on top of it, but you'll also feel a bit of caramel sweetness just on top of there. Not too prominent actually, quite a subtle characteristic, just right down the middle of the tongue there. You're getting a little bit of sweetness, which is really quite nice. Yeah, that caramel sweetness, as you move into the aftertaste, it just comes out, and it's quite wet right in the middle of the tongue there. Really quite a nice little touch to the beer, I have to admit. Yeah, there's a bit of an earthy hop character at the very back corners of the palate too. Really quite nice, I have to admit. Yeah. The bitter character to this beer, it stays there, but your palate adjusts more to the flavour as you go through this beer. So take a few sips of it and swirl it around your mouth a bit before you actually start to pick out the different components of the flavour of this one. Always important to do that if you're drinking this beer for the purposes of tasting. But yeah, that malt base actually starts to punch its way out a little bit more as you go into as you drink more of this beer. As I say, with the hoppy characteristics of this beer, there's a nice kind of earthy hop character at the very back corners of the palate, and as you move forward and a little bit further around the tongue, it becomes quite aromatic and it smooths out to be just a little bit more grassy around the very front curve of the tongue. And you can pick up a little bit of the fruity character coming out of this beer. It's quite citrusy, I have to admit, and then there's a little oily bubble just behind the front of the tongue, and that's where the nice fruity flavours are coming out of this beer. It's quite interesting, this one. I've never tried a beer that's quite like this. I'm not sure if this is the kind of trademark style of a table beer. I think this is actually the first table beer I've reviewed for you, but it is actually quite nice. Yeah. It's quite an enjoyable beer, this, and it is quite light in the alcohol content, so I think the whole purpose of these table beers is that they're meant to be nice and light and sessionable, so this one definitely fits that bill. But with the fruity character in this beer, I want to say that it is quite citrusy and quite a florally aromatic character that's coming out of this one. Maybe even just a little bit of pine resin there, but it's quite a drying and quite sharp floral aromaticity from this beer. It's really quite nicely done. The kind of candied fruits and things that I was saying you could pick up a little bit of in the aroma, I can't really detect those in the flavour. It must just be a little bit of the aroma that's coming out. Yeah, maybe just a really small bit behind the very front of the tongue, but no, mainly a kind of florally aromatic hop from this one. There's not too much fruit character in this beer at all, I would say, but it's really to me, in my palate at least, it comes over as a bit more floral and aromatic, maybe even a bit of pine resin, and the earthy hop characters in the back of the palate are really nice too. But as I say, as I always say, beer is subjective. Some people will detect different flavours from me, so you might actually pick up a bit more of the fruit than I am in this one, but to me it comes across as being a bit more floral and aromatic, but really nice beer nonetheless. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, definitely mid-bodied, actually quite a smooth carbonation on this one, but it comes in with quite a kind of dry and hoppy bitter attack on it. It's really actually quite an enjoyable beer, this, nice and refreshing. But there's a good bit of malty character to this one. The malt's more in the background of this. It is a more hop-forward beer, and in my experience, I've only tried 3 other beers, but as far as I remember, the Celt Experience beer all tend to be quite hop-forward, so if you enjoy a good hop-forward beer, then as I say, Celt Experience are a really good brewery for you to check out. But really quite enjoyable beer, this one. But as I say, the malt is more in the background of this, but there's a good bit of hoppy and dry character on the finish. But overall, it's a nice, quite sessionable beer, this. If you enjoy bitter beers, then this one probably is quite a good one for you to try, but it's more of a hop-forward bitter beer. And you can taste a little bit of the cereal character, which kind of fits in with the whole idea that they say on the website that this guy is a red table beer. It comes across really quite nicely, and I would drink it again, but I have to admit, I would probably I'd be interested to try their other beers. I'd be very reluctant to say which of the Celt Experience beers are my favourites so far. The Silures, I would be more, if I had to buy one of these two again, I would take the Silures beer, but I really do want to try some of the other ones and see how I get on with those. But this is a really nice beer, and if you enjoy the bitter style particularly, and more hop forward beers, then this one could be a really nice one for you. A really nice sessionable beer that you could enjoy with a nice kind of fish food dinner if you like. So it's really quite a good one, and I definitely will try more of the Celt Experience beers for you at some point. But as always, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. I thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on this beer if you do happen to have tried it before. Hopefully I can go back and review some more Celt Experience beers for you pretty soon. They do seem to be quite widely available in the supermarkets here in Sweden, so fingers crossed I can get more. Hopefully the range diversifies a little bit, because I've only ever seen this one and La 10, but hopefully I can get some of the more random ones and review those for you as well. But as I say, let me know your own thoughts on the beer. There will be more reviews from Wales in the fairly near future, but I thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. More reviews to come, and thank you again for watching. Slàinte just now.